Welcome to the video, guys. Now, I'm sure this surprises absolutely none of you, but once again, we have the Corbynated chicken running around essentially saying he won the argument at the last election, despite, of course, suffering the worst defeat in 85 years. So, I think we would agree that he definitely won the argument there, guys. Because in his demented little Marxist mind, he is running around claiming that bat flu has proved him right on public spending. Because, of course, in the 2019 manifesto, the Labour Party planned to spend trillions of pounds on dealing with bat flu, when, obviously, we didn't even know about it at the time. Now, we have BBC News reporting on this story, accompanied by a little video of the Corbynated chicken talking to Laura Kuenssberg, the BBC's political editor. So, let's take a quick look at them. The BBC's article headlines, Jeremy Corbyn says he was proved right on public spending. Yeah, because the reasons why the Tories are spending this money are exactly the same as the reasons you wanted to do it, making you right, of course. What an imbecile. Jeremy Corbyn says the government's response to bat flu proves he was absolutely right about public spending at the 2019 general election. The Labour leader told the BBC he had been denounced as somebody that wanted to spend more money than we could possibly afford to fix social wrongs. And yes, we couldn't afford it obviously, especially not to fix your imagined social wrongs. And let's be honest, if you would have got in, you would have put them spending plans in place and then this situation would have occurred, and you would have to pump hundreds of billions of pounds more into the economy, even after your 1.5 odd trillion spending spree had begun. He said he had been vindicated by the vast sums the government was spending on the current crisis. Now, I'm not sure how he claims he's been vindicated by the vast sums the government was spending on the current crisis, because nothing in the Labour Party's 2019 manifesto said they wanted to spend this money to deal with a bat flu crisis we knew nothing about at the time, even if China knew about it back at the time of the 2019 election. Which they likely did. The Tories now realise they had to invest in the state, he added. It's a bit different investing in the state because there's some Chinese bat flu arriving, and investing in the state because you're the Labour Party and you're trying to bribe the voters of the country. In an interview with BBC's political editor Laura Kuenssberg, Mr Corbyn said that the country had been ill prepared for the bat flu pandemic because of 10 years of austerity, of underfunding the National Health Service and underfunding our benefits system. Plenty of countries have not dealt with levels of austerity like we have and are still right in the shit now from this current situation. It's not a case of throwing money at it. You can have all the money in the world, but if the supply chains can't produce the protective equipment or ventilators that you need, then you are still in the same boat. End of story, money is not going to help that. Why do you think the government is telling countless companies to change production from whatever they made generally to be able to make ventilators for the NHS, and they will buy them all? It's not something you can just throw money at and instantly have. We would still be in the same position, if not worse, had you obviously won the last election, which of course you was never going to do. Because I'm sorry to break it to you, Jeremy, you was never right, and this has not proved you right either. This is more delusions on the level of Joe Swinson. Now, rather than reading any more of what he had to say, let's actually listen to the clip that they've included with this article.
I did everything I possibly could to win both elections and to say to the people of this country, the only way our society can come together is if we're prepared to invest. I was denounced as somebody that wanted to spend more money than we could possibly afford in order to right the social wrongs of this country. I didn't think that it would take only 3 months for me to be proved absolutely right by the amount of money the government is now prepared to put in, and Parliament has just voted through to deal with the coronavirus crisis. So this is a change in our politics, which the coronavirus crisis has actually meant in every country in the world. There's suddenly a realisation that we're only as healthy as the safety of our neighbour.
Just wow, the levels of delusion on this tit are absolutely incredible. He really, in his heart of heart, believes that he has been proved right, like his spending plans are any correlation to the current situation going on. I'm pretty sure the Tories wouldn't want to be spending this money, but they need to for the health of the nation, because if they didn't, I'm pretty sure they would be out of office at the next election, even given the terrible state of the Labour Party. He said the government had been shocked by the national emergency, as their instincts were for free market economics and the small state. They've now suddenly realised that they have to spend money to invest in the state, as we have always said as a party, and they have came around to a lot of that position. No, they haven't came around to that position. They're reacting to a situation in a way that seems best to them, in steps that they could be taking. Obviously, you probably know I don't fully agree with some of their steps, but that's not the point. This does not vindicate Jeremy Corbyn as right in anything. Mr. Corbyn said the government had also failed to realise how many people were in insecure employment in the UK when they drew up their response to the emergency. That might actually be true. But he believed that the pandemic had changed the political landscape forever. No, not necessarily. I think our society and our politics will never be the same again because we have suddenly realised as a society and a community we need everybody and everybody has a contribution to make. I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure society will go back to almost exactly the same as it was once this situation is over. As soon as the all clear and it's safe is announced, people will go back to their normal daily lives. Of that, I'm pretty sure. Mr. Corbyn has just over a week to go as Labour leader after 4.5 years in the job. And that is the greatest shame of this situation. The Corbynated chicken will no longer be leading the Labour Party into oblivion. Though the people looking to replace him, namely Sir Keir Starmer, Rebecca Long-Bailey and Lisa Nandy, will probably do a good job of bringing it down anyway. Mr. Corbyn decided to stand down after Labour's heavy defeat in December's general election, which came 2 years after a narrower defeat at the polls. Yes, he's a serial loser. That is the only thing he is good at the end of the day. He said, "I did everything I possibly could to win both elections and to say to the people of this country, the only way our society can come together is if we're prepared to invest." And no, investing is not going to make society come together. Mr. Corbyn blamed the party's defeat on divisions over Brexit, which led to a vote at Labour's conference to negotiate a new deal with the EU and then put it to another referendum. No, Jeremy Corbyn, that was certainly a part of why the Labour Party was defeated and defeated so badly. The real reason, of course, was mostly you, mate. The people of this country know the people you call friends and the fact that you hate the British people, the UK, America and all of our allies. Take a look at the Iranian General Fried Salami or whatever his name was, who, when he was killed by the US, you did not condemn once as a dirty terrorist scumbag that he is. Instead, you tried to get the Prime Minister to blame the Americans for taking him out. When most of the UK, including the government, likely think that the US military performed a service for the world that most people will be grateful for. He killed not only foreigners, but people from his own country. So surprise, surprise, the Corbynated chicken defended him. That policy clearly did not win the election, Mr. Corbyn told Laura Kuenssberg, but he added, "I did my best to bring people together on the principles that in or out of the EU, we needed to have an investment-led economy. We needed to be anti-austerity." Asked if his leadership was also to blame, he said he had received unprecedented levels of abuse from the mainstream media of me personally, which he said had to be factored in. No, it's got nothing to do with the mainstream media. The people of this country know what you're like and could see you as an incompetent, snivelling shitweasel that you obviously are. Reflecting on his time as leader, he said he was proud of Labour's hugely expanded membership and that he had been able to shift the party towards an interventionist economic policy and opposition to austerity, as well as its plan for a green industrial revolution. He was desperately sad about losing the 2019 election, good, in particular, but he believed the party was making an important contribution to the national debate. Yeah, the greatest defeat in 85 years is an epic contribution to the national debate, you complete loser. And you know what, I'm not even going to bother reading any more of that. The guy is clearly just talking a bunch of shit. The one thing he said there, of course I've made mistakes, is probably one of the only things he has said that has actually been true in this article, or should I say the interview itself. But apparently, bat flu means that the Corbynated chicken has won the argument, guys. Can you believe he is still carrying on with that nonsense after, of course, he was raked over the coals, what was it, back in December or January, for claiming that he had won the argument? Now before I go, I've started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you would like to come and join me for a live stream to chat in real time, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or just want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link will be down in the video description below and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now as always, before I go, I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.